Building a new Porsche is serious business every time. Everyone working on the project has a task, a goal. But not everyone is of the same opinion, so it does take a bit of self-assertiveness. Opinion versus opinion, interests versus interests, department versus department. On the Cayman S, it was no different. The objective was a two-seater sports coupe with six-cylinder boxer mid-engine, a car that, like virtually no other, epitomizes the unadulterated sports car experience. Instantly Porsche. That called for single-minded thinking, single-minded action, so things get pretty heated in the development process. As we said, serious business. Very serious. Usually. So the designers went to work. They sketched, optimized, erased, sketched some more, and gradually inched their way towards the ideal image. Striking, powerful. A sports car sculpture with exciting coupe lines and an elongated tail featuring a large expanse of glass. But one man's ideal is by no means another man's ultimate solution, especially when judged by a different yardstick. The yardstick of the Porsche engineers. In the air inlets, for instance, the designers wanted lots of free scope for the design. The engineers wanted free scope for engine and brakes. The discussions began. Sure, voices were sometimes raised, and yet both knew that only together could they achieve the best result, without compromise. It was no different in engine development. A power plant developed especially for the Cayman S, 3.4 liters, 295 horsepower. Lightweight construction, which met with unanimous approval. But tempers flared on another topic, the exhaust system. The designers wanted the most coherent possible visuals around the dual pipe. The engineers vetoed heat generation. You can imagine how heated the debates got here. On other fronts, at least, there was consensus. The engine will be in the middle, period. Naturally, everyone wanted to exploit the full potential of the engine, and their own potential. At this point in time, satisfaction was not the issue, neither with oneself nor with the others. Our chassis engineers really weren't to be envied. After all, they are responsible for seeing that the Cayman S consistently puts its power on the road, and design doesn't really play a major role here. True. Except for one item, the wheels. They too are part of the chassis, or more precisely, a visible part of the chassis, meaning a case for the designers. And exactly there, conflict potential was lurking. For the one group, the wheel design should be a perfect match with the lines of the Cayman S. For the other group, another idea was more crucial: minimum weight with maximum stability. How to reconcile these two extremes was discussed in closed chambers at great length. When it came to safety too, there was no end to the rivalry. The engineers focused on things that others would prefer to never see. Airbags, for instance, or crash structures. The designers, on the other hand, realized that these things just won't comply with the design objectives, no matter how much they are discussed. One objective for everyone involved was, for example, the lowest possible insurance class rating to keep costs low for the driver. And then came the crash tests, just as necessary as they are painful. For the car, the engineers, the designers. If the data then tell a clear story, all tests passed, one at least knows why one has gone through it all. Definitely not for the esteemed colleagues. Then came the proof of the pudding. The engineers got to take the wheel, at last. The designers got to stay in Weissach. The engineers were at the other end of the world fighting against every conceivable weather condition. The designers were at last with their families again, at least in the evenings. Surely there was a bit of envy on both sides. And surely both sides knew that their work was long from finished. What counted now was to tie up the package for good, to check the work done, give the details that final polish, collect tons of data, and countless stories. It's finished. The Cayman S. Uncompromising, absolutely authentic in every single respect. Everyone involved knows what he's put into it as a team player and for himself, because everyone also knows that only serious competition can inspire peak performance. And yet, if we hadn't had fun developing the Cayman S, we definitely would have built the wrong car. Seriously.